Wow.
Hello, my friends, Gary Gores, and fellow poets. Welcome back to Conversing with Poets. Hello, little Danny. Hello, Genevieve. Hello, class. Hello, Delgal. How are we all? What are we up to on this wonderful weekend? Don't forget to press that like button now at 2. Thank you very much, class. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. I would really, really appreciate it. It's completely free, but it does really help me and the channel. So yeah, please do hit that like button, and that includes if you're watching on playback as well. But hello, everyone. It's Sunday. It's a weekend. I feel like we haven't streamed for a while. We didn't stream last week, and then the week before was a short stream because we were a little on the quiet front. So feels like it's been a while. But I thought that we would talk about self-publishing success. And as always, I've brought some news articles from the week and from around the world. We didn't actually set a prompt. Because we were so quiet the last time we streamed, we wrapped up early and I forgot to set a prompt. So I'm going to quickly set one now for the next 10 minutes or so. If you want to take part, why not? I was working a night shift last night, so I'm a little bit, my body clock's all over the place, and also our clocks have changed as well. So my body clock is a little bit whack. Breaking through. Have we done the prompt breaking through? There's a bit of light breaking through into the shed. Have we done that recently or at all? Let me know in the chat if we've already done that and I'll change it. But otherwise, breaking through seems like a good prompt. Just chilling, taking a slow Sunday. That sounds like a good idea, class. That sounds like a good Sunday to me. Just chill, hang out. That is 2, by the way, sir. I'm sorry? That is 2, by the way, sir. I'm not sure what you mean there. That is 2, by the way. But yeah, what have we all been up to? Class is just chilling. Danny, unfortunately, is a little bit stressed, having been signed off work and a visit tomorrow. So I apologize that you're feeling stressed. Hyping myself up in order to engage in my own National Poetry Month. Yes, it's NaPoWriMo. I completely forgot. We had a leadership meeting yesterday. No, not yesterday. Saturday. Yeah, yesterday. Crikey. I really don't know what day of the week it is right now. We had a leadership meeting yesterday morning / afternoon. And it was brought to my attention that it is NaPoWriMo in a couple of days, and I completely forgot. Well, excuse me, I'm already on 2 yawns. I won't say the word and be blamed. I literally just said it. Oh yeah, April is almost here. I got you. I literally just said it as I realized. So that I think is 3 now then already. 33. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not quite with it, but hopefully I'll warm up, guys. I'll warm up into the session. I've got my cozy clothes on as well. But yeah, April is almost here. NaPoWriMo is just around the corner. Today is Sunday, March 30. 31 days in March. Crikey. 4. And then it's April 1st, National Poetry Month. It sure is. The Y World. The Y World. Hello, Phoenix. The Y World. 30. Just pre-count them. Just pre-count them in batches of 30. I think we're on 5 now. Crikey. Crikey, crikey, crikey. Oh man, I'm fighting for my life over here, guys. I'm fighting for my life over here. Oh, I forgot to put the ding dong on. The ding dong's not on, guys. There you go. I am here. Hello. Hello, pumpkin lover. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? How are we all? What have we all been up to? Oh, yeah, today's the 29th. I meant day ahead. I wrote a day ahead in my journal because I'm busy tomorrow. Fair enough. That's one way to take care of business. Be a day ahead, right? What have I done today? So I came back from a night shift. Came back from a night shift. I slept for a few hours. And then I went for a sauna, swim, and steam room, came back and slept for a few more hours. And then I was struggling, guys. I was fighting to wake myself up for stream, but I managed to do it. Whoa, 9,400. Yeah, we are so close to that big 10,000, guys. We're so close to that big 10,000. If you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button if you want all things poetry related. All right, I'm going to give it another 5 minutes to write a poem based on the prompt breaking through. Not inspired by High School Musical. There's a lot of Disney reunions happening right now. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Oh, goodness me, I didn't even feel that one. Oh, guys, we're not even 10 minutes into the stream and we're on Yawn 6 already. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let's move on to the breaking news section and then we'll do the prompt challenge afterwards. How does that sound? So, breaking news. Breaking news. And as always, hang on a minute. As always, I really enjoy reading some fake headlines up here. So do feel free to, as I'm reading through this, submit your own breaking news headlines and I'll read them out because they do give me much joy. All right, our first news article for today is from The Guardian. Excuse me. That doesn't count because there's no counter on screen. University of Liverpool acquires entire archive of poet Roger McGough. I met Roger McGough at the RSA building a few months ago. Great guy. And poet. Archivist Joe Klett says the 40 boxes of material will provide a full picture of Roger's entire working career. Wow. It's a joy to be old, wrote Roger McGough, one of Britain's most popular, prolific, and funniest poets. The dog dead and the car sold. Another joy might be decluttering. After the departure of dozens of boxes of notebooks, manuscripts, drafts, project files. Come on! Someone come and slap me in the face. Posters, letters, personal artworks, and more. McGough has admitted his house is significantly emptier. If anyone wants to buy some old empty filing cabinets, then get in touch. Through you, he joked. The University of Liverpool has announced it has acquired McGough's entire archive. It already had a mass of personal papers relating to his life up to 2007. Now it's taken delivery of material accumulated since then, and items such as travel journals that he had been reluctant to give up first time round. Yeah, McGough is a very funny, very charismatic person, great poet, and as it said, prolific poet. And that's great. So imagine just like sitting back and imagine being in a position in your poetic journey, poetic life, where you go, my goodness, I really need to clear out. And a university presumably buys it all to clear it out for you. Great. That would be a nice position to be in, wouldn't it? I don't think it specifically said, I think it said acquired, so I don't know if they bought it. I'm going to assume that they paid for it and that he didn't just give it to them. Breaking news, Adam Gary cheats yawn count because it's not on screen. Viewers were outraged. Rightly so. I'm on my way. I'll be 10 mins. And rightly so to be outraged. To be outraged. Okay, so next headline comes from Vatican News, comes from out of Rome. Cardinal Di Mendonca, I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly, pronouncing that correctly, on World Poetry Day. Poetry is on the side of peace. Cardinal Jose Tolentino di Mendonca, a poet and prefect of the Dicastery for Culture and Education, reflects on the connection between poetic art and peace in an interview with Vatican News. Poetry is one of the deepest forms of listening. Yes, it originates from silence and perhaps requires poets to become, more than authors, interpreters capable of attuning themselves to the visible and invisible realms of the universe. Yes, Eugenio Morali, who wrote this. Fantastic. I love that. Great. Let me read that one more time. It requires poets to become, more than authors, interpreters capable of attuning themselves to the visible and invisible realms of the universe. Crikey. From this mysterious dialogue with creation, the word takes shape through the voices of poets. Moreover, the ability to make space within oneself turns poetry into education for peace. Quote, the beating of a butterfly's wings, end quote, observes Cardinal Jose Tolentino di Mendonca. Quote, or the beating of syllables in a word, ignite dynamics of meaning, light, or darkness in the human heart. Poetry offers us unarmed and even disarming words because it works with surprise. Poetry is a precursor to the art of peace. End quote. This is fantastic. A pact with the future, an ancient connection links poetic art to truth. Turning to the 19th century French poet Charles Baudelaire, Cardinal di Mendonca explains that, quote, poetry lays the heart bare, and that nakedness of the heart, close to the great human questions, builds approaches to truth. The great poet Paul Celan said, only true hands write true poems, end quote. Oh my goodness. There's so many amazing quotes in this. Long live poetry, wrote Pope Francis in his book of the same name, reminding us of the importance of this art in being human and also the role it plays in the formation of priests. Yep, poetry, we've said it so many times on this channel. Poetry is like at the heartbeat of so many civic activities, and it was like, and it slowly is becoming more and more so important in big events, world history and stuff like that. Does that make sense? I'm sure it does. If not, you guys will figure out what I'm trying to say on my behalf, I'm sure. Without silence, there is no poetry. Poetry cannot exist without silence, which often tempts poets. Quote, it is a word, end quote, concludes Cardinal di Mendonca. Quote, that was first founded in silence and can only then grow. In poetry, there is still the resonance of silence because silence means listening. It means hospitality. Therefore, poetry is one that retains the thirst and unease of the search. I love this guy. Inhabits the truth with humility, but does not proclaim it and does not impose it. It allows itself to be inhabited by truth and remains silent. Poetry is the word that waits, that knows how to wait for everyone, end quote. That wasn't the whole article. It's a really great article, well worth reading. So that is our second headline of today. Wait, what happened here? I clicked the wrong link. That's okay. All right. Next up, we have community bookshop run by prize. Gosh, every time I open a news website these days, it's asking me to subscribe. Community bookshop run by prize-winning Scottish poet to close after 8 years. An independent bookshop run by one of the city's most renowned poets is set to close its doors after 8 years at the heart of the community in Abbey Hill. The owner of Citadel Books on Montrose Terrace have announced they are shutting shop on March 31st, just a couple of days away, after their premises were sold to a new owner. Writer Alan Spence, who served as Edinburgh's Macar, which is like the laureate. Oh, it says here, the city's poet laureate until 2021, set up the small shop with his wife Janani in 2017. It began after the 78-year-old was left with an office full of books following his retirement as a creative writing teacher at Aberdeen University and started having book sales to raise money for a local meditation centre. The shop sells a range of second-hand fiction and poetry, as well as books on meditation and art. The couple has decided not to look for a new premises after the landlord informed them he was selling the building earlier this year. It's always good to support independent bookshops and local independent bookshops as well. So when you're on your travels, check out indie bookshops, but especially if you have some local ones, support them too. This is closing down not because they went out of business, which is great. Rather, the landlord is selling up, but that's not always the case, and more often than not, it's the case that money isn't being spent. So spend money. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Let me just quickly catch up on chat. Are you British? I love your accent. I certainly am. Haha, Phoenix. I'm seeing a lot of what for some reason I'm seeing a lot of like I don't know if it's Japanese, Korean, but there's a lot of Genevieve before haha on my screen at least. There's like some sort of um Eastern character in front of it. All right, last one for today. No, we still got two more. Oh my goodness. Wait, what's going on? I don't even know. You tell me. Last one of the day. Arts, art from spaces in crisis. Why we read Palestinian poetry. Originally written in 2011, Rifat Alarir's poem If I Must Die resurfaced with devastating urgency after October 2023, when Alarir was killed in an Israeli airstrike in his sister's apartment in northern Gaza. He was 44. In the days following his death, the poem spread across social media and protest spaces, translated into dozens of languages to be shared worldwide. Suddenly, it was read as a self-written eulogy, a meditation on death in the face of ongoing conflict, and a guide for how meaning can endure while genocide persists. Rifat was a literature and creative writing lecturer at the University of Gaza and a co-founder of We Are Not Numbers, a program representing and mentoring young Palestinian writers. Working alongside like-minded scholars, he wrote from a place where even the most ordinary forms of joy and self-expression were monitored and constrained. I'm just reading through because, as always, I don't want. This is quite a lengthy article as it is, and I don't want to read the whole thing for you, um, because I want to leave some bits for you to discover in your own time. But what stands out about his writing is that it is what it refuses to do. His poetry is never defined by grand political slogans or declarations of martyrdom. Instead, poems like If I Must Die turn toward something tender and innocent, a kite, asking that it be flown so that a child who has known nothing but hardship might look up and believe, if only for a moment, that an angel has arrived. In one of his final interviews, Elaria described himself as an academic with no weapons. Quote, the toughest thing I have at home is an expo marker, end quote, he said. If Israeli soldiers invaded, he would throw that marker at them, even if it were the last thing he did. Elaria knew that poetry would not protect him, but he wrote anyway. His work came to exemplify what violence so often is designed to erase: hope. Poetry outlasts its author, refusing to let suffering have the final word in its legacy. I love that. Poetry outlasts its author, refusing to let suffering have the final word in its legacy. So, if art cannot save lives, why does it continue to be made in contexts where mere survival is a daily struggle? It should not be unfamiliar to recognize how art and the individual voice are censored or left forgotten under unequal conditions of power. However, this does not mean all such self-expression disappears entirely. Art produced during periods of extreme violence often carries a force that outweighs its time of making. From poems noted in the trenches of World War I, dissident literature within the Soviet Union, or testimonial writing from Latin American survivors of dictatorship, mankind has repeatedly turned to language at moments when freedom of speech appears least sufficient. I think that's a really nice place to end there, actually. I think that's a good place to end. There's still quite a bit left of the article, but there should be a link in the chat waiting for you already to check that out after stream. Telling the truth about what you see is a protest, absolutely. Absolutely. And it also does not need to rhyme. No. Hi, Adam. Not Gary. I've had that my whole life to the point where I just accept it now. But yes, hi Adam. Just love the way you sometimes say that poetry doesn't mean to do anything. We just need a paper and a pen and write our thoughts down. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for talking about him. He was so soft-spoken and kind. That's really sad about Rafit. He does read and he does do write-alongs, which I love. We all write poetry together. Yeah, the write-alongs are always great fun. Will you read to us? Everybody needs to please hit his like button. Thank you so much, Pumpkin Lover. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You like the accent too. Speak up for yourself, everyone. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Speaking of, oh wait, let's head out of breaking news. That's our breaking news for this week. I hope you enjoyed the articles and do go back and check them out in your own time because I only read part of the articles.
Wow.
Okay, we still have two more things to cover before we move on to our subject for tonight, which is how to successfully self-publish your poetry book. The first thing we're going to do is I read our poem of the day from Poetry Foundation, which is Love Poems by Edward Salem. And then we also hopefully should have some poems ready to send in the chat based on the prompt breaking through. If you want to put those in the chat now, feel free whilst I'm reading this poem of the day, which is, once again, Love Poems by Edward Salem. 10 years ago, I told my cousin Khalid, West Bank cologne salesman, aspiring chicken factory farm owner, I'd come back in 6 months. I embarrassed him once, accidentally revealing to his mother that he wrote love poems on Facebook. I didn't know it was a secret he kept from her. The sunken look of betrayal he gave me, seated by side on squeaky computer chairs, is the same look I imagine he has when he thinks of me now. It's the look I give myself. And that is brand new. Source Poetry Magazine, March 2026. So that is fresh off the press. So once again, it's called Love Poems by Edward Salem. All right, let me see what we've got in the chat. Right along next week. Yes, it will be. Yes, absolutely. Right along next week. It's the first Sunday of the month. So, yeah, I hope we can do a right along. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, excellent. So, do we have any prompt challenge poems? We've got a few more minutes. We'll get started on our topic at 1:30. Oh, we've hit 401. We've gained a new subscriber whilst being live. Hello, new subscriber. Thank you for being here. And we've got 9 people watching with 5 likes. So if you haven't hit that like button yet, I'd really, really appreciate it. Please do hit that like button. It's completely free, but it does help me and the channel. Whoa, wow. The wall is growing teeth today to eat the words I've tried so hard to say. So I'm breaking through these plaster skins and finally letting outside in. Nice. Thank you, pumpkin lover. Great. Genevieve, breaking news is breaking through, making its way out to you. Are they real or are they not? He doesn't know, he's lost the plot. He doesn't dare count that yawn. Oh no, I'd broken the chain and that's going to start it up again. Count that yawn since he went to bed just after dawn. This is great. So, what does this all mean for you? His insanity may be breaking through. I think my insanity broke through a few years ago. I like this channel. Thank you so much, my Finch family. It's great to have you here. It's good to have you here. All right, so let's talk about our topic for this evening. Actually, let me set the prompt for next week because I'm scared that I'll forget again if I don't do it now whilst we're sort of talking about it. The prompt for next week is achievement. Achievement. All right, so make a note of that. And between now and next stream, write a poem based on achievement. Me too. I really appreciate that, guys. You make my heart feel fuzzy. It's the John Lennon's accent. It's so poetic. I don't have John Lennon's accent actually because I believe he's from Liverpool, so he will actually have a different accent. Unless he lost his. I am more of a Rolling Stones fan than a Beatles. You're either a Beatles fan or a Stones fan, and I'm more on the side of the Stones. But yeah, I believe John Lennon had a Liverpudlian accent, which I used to do once. I used to be able to do once upon a time, but I don't want to offend anyone now. Liverpudlian, yeah, Liverpoolish, Liverpudlian. Uh, no, I'm not going to embarrass myself. Um, okay, so let's talk about our topic for this evening, which is how to successfully self-publish a poetry book. And why did I bring this to the table? I was thinking about, right, we haven't done a proper conversing with poets stream in a while. Oh, nice. You're a legend. Thank you so much, Dazzle in the Dark, Dazzle Daryl, for the 4.99 super chat. Liverpudlian is one of my favourite terms for people from a place. Liverpudlian. Uh, yeah, it is a fun word to say. Liverpudlian. What was I saying? Yeah, we haven't done a conversing with poets stream in a while. I was like, it's getting harder and harder to think of topics to bring to the table. And we may well have covered this before, but we haven't covered what I want to say. And I know that because it's actually very topical right now. I don't know. There's a company, I'm not going to say which company it is, but there's a company recently who is doing a marketing campaign and they keep coming up as ads on my YouTube. And it starts with, did you know certain statistic of self-published books don't sell because you're not in you didn't spend money on the interior design of the book? And I thought, every time I catch myself and I go, because of a book didn't sell because of its interior design, and that just sounds bizarre to me. Somehow Paul turning into Pudlian amuses me. Yeah. I read The Secret Garden and I fell in love with those accents. I haven't heard of this one. I haven't heard of this book. Yeah, so this company is claiming that the reason published books don't sell is because it wasn't designed. The internal book, I don't know, the internal book wasn't designed properly. And it just always jars me every time I hear it, because I think to myself, I don't think that's why. The reason a self-published book doesn't sell mostly is because there's not a great big marketing campaign behind it. You know, us poets and authors, indie authors, don't have thousands of pounds to pay for a proper marketing campaign. It's the marketing that sells books. Don't get me wrong, there is obviously something to be said about the quality of the book. If your book is amazing, if your book is like a gem, a hidden gem, word of mouth will go round and it will sell your book. But for the most part, internal design of the book isn't really going to have much of an effect um, on sales. So I wanted to talk about how you can successfully self-publish a book and see if anyone in the chat actually done that journey. I've done it a couple times, so you can learn from my lessons. There's a hair poking in my eye that's itching me. Has anyone been through that journey of self-publishing? Hi, Bruno. Bruno's just sent me a picture of him watching the stream. Hi, Bruno. I hope you're feeling better. Um, has anyone been through that journey of self-publishing? Because the great thing about conversing with poets, the whole thing that makes these streams is the conversation that happens in the chat. And you know, there are times where I learn things from you guys. In fact, often I learn from you guys as well. So not me. That's okay. That's okay. There is one claim that this company makes. I've noticed they've got two ads going around at the same time. At the Yeah, right now they've got two different ads going around at the same time. One of them claims that the internal design. One of them also does claim about editing, and that is a fair point. Like, editing is important, but again, if we're self-publishing, we don't necessarily have thousands of pounds to pay for an editor. Unless you're lucky and you have a poet friend or a friend who's willing to do it for you for free. It seems too confusing. I tried to figure out how to make an ebook, but don't understand fully. Do you know what? To be honest with you, poetry ebooks are so hard. They're so hard to create in terms of formatting, to the point where I kind of given up now. I don't know if I'll ever self-publish a poetry ebook again. I might do it in a PDF style, but not an EPUB file. I sent my daughter's poem to Indie Kids, a newspaper in NYC, and they published it. That's fantastic. How wonderful, my Finch. Yeah, that's great. So I feel like I should say yes because of my chapbook, but I also feel like no because I feel like that exists slightly outside of a wider release option. Yeah, I guess so. That's sort of if it's the one that I have and that I'm thinking of, that was like a DIY chapbook. But I guess I don't see why that wouldn't count. I don't see why that wouldn't count. Perhaps a Adam Gary how-to video soon. I'm surprised I haven't done that yet, actually. I'm surprised I haven't done that yet. But yes, hello Bruno. Hope you're feeling better, man. Um, yes, I agree. A how-to, exactly. Also, hey-oh, still sick, but getting better, I think. Nice, good, good. I'm glad you're on the mend. As much as it is probably painful to hear, and as much as like we creatives might grimace at the notion, unfortunately, like to successfully, it depends what it always comes down to what your goal is. It depends what your goal is. If your goal is just to have a book listed on the internet and self-published, um then it's fine. But if your goal is to, like, I don't know, sell a certain amount of copies and make a certain amount of money, then again, as much as creatives may grimace at this, there is like a business side to it. There is like planning involved to successfully um sell copies. This is the wording they used. It was something along the lines of, did you know blah blah statistic amount of self-published books sell? It's something like, did you know only did you know something like 80% of self-published books only sell a few copies, is the wording they use. And then they say, and that's because you didn't hire someone to design the interior of your book, which just makes no sense to me at all, because if I'm going online, maybe in bookshops, most self-published books don't end up in bookshops. They just end up on websites like Amazon. So if I'm shopping for a book on Amazon, I know you can sort of go into like a preview, I think, but how often do I do that? Almost never. I don't think people actually do that. They just buy the book. So I don't see why interior design is being used as a reason why books aren't selling. It's because they're selling a course on interior book design. Anyway, what was I saying? What you really need to sell copies is a marketing plan, which is like a super businessy thing to do, but it needs to be done. You need to spend some time. Unfortunately, the hard work of writing a book is not the end of the story, is not the end of the journey. Again, depending on what your goal is. If your goal is to just have a book online that has your name attached to it, you don't need to do anything. I mean, heck, you can write 5 poems, upload the PDF, and bam, it's online these days, and a job done, right? If that's your goal. But if you really want to like sell lots of copies and sell a certain amount of copies, um, it's hard work, guys. It's hard work, especially if you aren't keen on doing the social media thing. Don't get me wrong. I have a strong, like, I truly believe in 20 years' time, social media will be dead. And I think we'll all be better off for it. I hate Instagram. I hate Facebook. I deleted my Facebook. Um, I deleted my Instagram for a little bit and then decided I had to come back. Oh no, they steal from artists. What's this? Let me catch up on chat. Has anyone entered poetry contests? I've seen photo contests. Be careful of some of those contests. They are a gimmick. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. Just do some research on the people that are doing the competitions. Make sure that they're reputable. Of course. Oh no, they steal from artists. If they made the argument that many self-published books don't sell or just sell to friends and family without marketing and a decent design, sure, that seems valid. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. A cover design, sure. The same company has an ad out about cover designs, and I have no issue with that, because a good cover will sell your book. Interior design, I don't think so. Um, But they're not saying marketing. They're not mentioning a marketing campaign or a marketing plan to sell your book, which is crazy to me. Hi, sorry I'm late. Welcome, a poet. No worries. We're just talking about how to successfully self-publish, depending on what your goal is. And maybe I should have changed the title to how to successfully sell your self-published. How to successfully sell your self-published. I like that book. But yeah, you need to write good poetry, because you could spend thousands of pounds, or you could spend hundreds of hours planning a marketing campaign, and if your book isn't good, then what's the point, right? Um, but let's assume that you're the best poet in the world, which you all are. You're all the best poets in the world, um, and you're ready to go. You're ready to sell a book. What is the most important thing to do after putting the manuscript together? And that is putting a marketing plan together. So you want to do things like blog tours is an old-fashioned thing to do, but it's still so important. So look up poetry blogs, look up poetry reviews, and and email them and say, hey, can you review my book? Hey, can I write a guest post for your blog to help sell my book? Go on live streams like this one. I haven't had a guest on a live stream for a long time. But there might be, you know, there might be a way to do that. YouTube is severely lacking poetry channels. So that's what you can do. You can start a poetry channel on YouTube. What else can you do? Paid ads, is not something I've done yet for selling books, but like to promote events with the laureateship, we've used paid ads and it's been pretty good. We've had pretty good responses to it. So, they do work. It all depends what your budget is. Um, In-person book tours, talking about independent bookshops and spending money at independent bookshops. Go to your local indie bookshop. Go to your surrounding area, the indie bookshops in your surrounding area, and ask if you could give a talk and sell books, or give a reading and sell your books afterwards. But honestly, when you weigh up like interior design of a book and marketing, it's like this. Interior design is like, I'm not saying there isn't a place for it. There is, but it's really not that important. It's not as important as this company is making out it is. The reason people only sell a handful of copies of their book is not because they didn't spend time designing the inside of their book. It's because they didn't do a marketing campaign. Yeah. That was sort of I guess this is more of a rant than a conversing. I just wanted to get that off my chest because I keep seeing it and I keep hearing it and it's like a slap to the face. You can open up a self-published book and you can go, okay, so this is really professionally done, and you can go, okay, this is what it is. It's a self-published book. You do, if you really want a nice polished end product, you do want to kind of go. Google is your friend. Google the most typical, the most common font used in publishing, and use that. I use Garamond a lot. Times New Roman. Um, there are new fonts coming out all the time, but those sort of fonts, I don't know what they're called, but something like Times New Roman. Um, Use page numbers. Have a index. Uh, have a contents page. Have a foreword. I think Times New Roman size 11, off the top of my head, I think is common, and you're good to go. Just make sure it looks neat. But other than that, like, if you want illustrations is another thing. If you want illustrations, they're always great. There was a big boom in similar style of illustrations that was coming out in every single poetry book. That phase we seem to be on the other end of that phase now. But that's just a nice bonus. If you're an illustrator, throw some illustrations in there for sure. They say online support communities are valuable. Yeah, I truly believe. I mean, a community is a big thing for me. For people who have been around for a while, people who know me well enough know that community is a big thing for me. Um, what do they mean by interior design? The illustrations or layout or what? I assume they mean the layout. I assume they mean the layout. But in terms of like priority list, poetry, in my opinion, to sell your self-published book, to sell more than a couple of copies, the poetry, the blurb slash item description. SEO is a big thing now, guys. So learn to write an SEO description for sure. marketing campaign, and then maybe like the categories you put that book in, make sure you're putting it in the right categories. I'm just wondering if there's anything else. And then maybe interior design. And for oh no. So, okay, poetry, book cover, description slash blurb, categorization, interior design. You really don't need flash formatting. I was saying it's better to start in a poetry community rather than marketing to the public. Um, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say use a community. Are you saying it's better to start in a poetry community rather than marketing to the public? Um, I would just say it's a good thing in general to be part of a poetry community, to be around like-minded people, like tonight, to discuss poetry-related topics and to learn from each other and build a support network. Anything creative, um, if you're pursuing if you're pursuing a career in the arts, if you're pursuing um your goals and stuff, there's a lot of rejection involved. It's very lonely. Um, and it's tough. You need a thick skin. So to be a part of a community where you can lean on at times and get advice from and just have a good time and vibe with your tribe. Vibe with your tribe. There you go. Um, is super important. Whether you're writing a book or trying to sell a book or not. They say online support communities are valuable. Use keywords. Yeah. Do you know of any? I would like to join some. I post some poetry on my channel here. I sprinkle them in between my music stuff. Peer support. Yeah. Safe space. Yeah, rejection is lonely. I am trying to get my tribe together, so to speak. Well, I hope you consider us part of your tribe, Pumpkin Lover. You're here on the regular. I hope you consider us as part of that. We're your tribe. Thank you so much for those hearts coming in, by the way. You are deaf part of my tribe. Thank you. Okay, good. I was like, what do you mean you're trying to find your tribe? We're right here. Please share your link. Okay, just a reminder for next week's poetry prompt challenge. It is achievement. I was doing well. That was like point 0.5 of a yawn. Uh, just a reminder, the poetry prompt challenge for next week is achievement, but I'm also trying to grow my channel. That's fair enough. And it is like a turtle. Very, very discouraging. Thanks for letting me say this and share, of course. We need more poets on YouTube. We desperately need more poets on YouTube. Excuse me. Um, I can I hover over your name and get some channel information? Oh, I can go to channel, open link in new tab. Okay, so in Pumpkin Lover, you have 84 subscribers. I don't know if they've changed this now because it's admittedly I used to be really hot on social media and how social media worked. And then obviously the laureateship has taken up all my time for the last 2 years, and I am admittedly um out of out of the circle of knowledge, out of the loop. That's what I'm looking for. Out of the loop a little bit. But I know back in the day, YouTube made it purposely made it very difficult to gain your first 100 subscribers. It's almost like an algorithmic test to see how serious you are. And then once you hit 100 subscribers, you would find that your subscriber count begins to snowball. It used to be that way. I don't know if it's still. I don't know what the new algorithm changes are anymore. As I say, I've been out of the loop for quite a while, but I used to really study this stuff and try and figure it all out. Which is why I made. There are some videos on the channel about social media as a poet, how to start a YouTube channel, how to have an Instagram and a TikTok, but they might be a bit outdated now. But I would say hang in there. Hopefully, once you hit the big 100, it will start to snowball. And I'm going to put a link in the chat for you anyway. There you go, guys. Here's a link for Pumpkin's channel. Yes, lol, deaf test. I'm about to throw in the towel. No, don't do that. Consistency, determination is key. I promise you, Pumpkin Lover, it's not easy, but it's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be easy. But I've just shared a link in the chat. So, Gary Goyles, go and support our fellow Gary Goyle. Just keep at it. It's a game of consistency. It really is. A game that I'm losing at the moment, as you guys can tell. Luckily, I do these streams every week or whenever I can, just to keep content coming in. But once upon a time, I was publishing a video every single week, and it takes a lot of determination to write the script. Well, figure out what the video is going to be, write the video, film the video, edit the video, upload the video, promote the video. It's not easy. It really isn't. And some people are blessed. Some people are lucky. They strike gold straight away. But for the most part, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. There's a illustration I really like. Let me see if I can find it. Of the miner. Do you know this illustration, guys, of the miner who's so close to gold but turns back? You know, this image is permanently. Hold on. This image is permanently etched in my brain. Hold on, I'll throw it on screen. I was gonna send you a link, but I'll throw it on screen actually. I'll call it grind. It's the grind, like Miley Cyrus, but not. Not the climb, the grind. Sorry, give me 2 seconds, guys. I know it's taken a while. It's this image here. Have you guys seen this image before? This is what keeps me going. I'm gonna sit over here. Hold on. This is the image you gotta always remember, guys. Whenever you feel like throwing in the towel, this is the image you gotta think of. I used to want to make a channel about everything classical and non-classical poetry, trying to make poetry fun, like who Set Violin does with classical music. Now I don't know if I have it in me. It takes a lot, and you know what? You gotta. All right, real talk for a second. You gotta really ask yourself how badly you want it, because it takes it takes a lot of effort. It's not always easy. As I say, some people are lucky enough to just have it. They just strike gold. They're a viral sensation overnight, and they get sponsor deals, and they become millionaires in a few months. And you're like, damn. But you have to be really passionate. If you're going to make a channel, you have to be really passionate about it to the point where you can't not do it. Um, if that makes sense. I'm probably not in the most motivational speaking mood right now, half asleep. Um, but yeah, like I want to be real with you. It takes effort, it takes energy, and I'm well aware that I overwork myself. You guys know I overwork myself. You're always telling me off, and rightly so. So I don't want to send you down a similar path because I want you guys to look after yourselves better than I look after myself. Um, yeah, do it. I encourage you. Thank you kindly, Adam. How nice. Thank you. There are people out there who need you to find them. Yeah, exactly. I want to find them. They will find you, and you will find them. Like you found me. You guys found me through whatever video was the first video you discovered the channel on. You just need to put that content out there. People won't find you if the content's not there. You've got to make the content and then just let them come to you. But again, you need to kind of have a you need to, like the marketing thing, you need to kind of be willing to learn about YouTube descriptions and keywords and SEO optimization and stuff. There are things you have to kind of do, or there are things you can do to to have a stronger foot in the door. They need you because they can't find anyone who understands their struggle. Absolutely. And the same with writing, guys. Only you can make content the way you make content. Only you can write poems the way you write poems. So don't be discouraged. But you have to you have to be super passionate about it. There are people out there who need to find you. Yep, yep, yep. They need you because they can't find anyone. Yep, you might be their angel. I understand 100% that is my soul tribe. I know they are out there. I am calling to them through the wires. Thank you, Finch. I appreciate all your kindness today, as well as our host. It's exciting to think about. Part of it is that I have a really hard time with time management. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, a poet I can relate too well. I also don't have enough privacy to have a place to record. I've already started. Oh, it jumped. Where'd it go? I've already started learning to make vids, and I have that problem. I've already started learning to make vids, and I have that problem. The privacy thing, yeah, that's valid. That's valid. I understand. Um, yeah. Uh, Genevieve or Danny, I think we have a topic to discuss. Can we make a note somewhere on the stream card to do a stream about this? Maybe I need to do a fresh social media for poets video or stream. Yes, I found Adam here on YouTube. It was like an algorithmic gift that day. Thank you. Uh, YouTube found you for me. YouTube knows I'm a poet before I did. Yeah, exactly. Don't forget, YouTube is also a search engine, and the algorithm, as scary and as much as we hate it sometimes, the fact that 1 minute we can be talking about needing to cut our grass or our lawn, and then suddenly we're being shown ads about lawnmowers. There is also the positive side to that. It knows that you're a poet, or it knows that you're a musician, and it will also send you good stuff as well as bad stuff. Hi Tanya, welcome to the stream. I'm not sure why my chat box has so many, like, I think it's Japanese or something. There's like Japanese characters in my chat box. I don't know what that's about. YouTube is a crazy thing. I feel you do have a poet's soul. I always felt that. Thank you for seeing me. There's so much love in the chat right now. Okay, unfortunately, as Tanya joins us, let me get rid of this image. As Tanya joins us, we say goodbye. But that is it for our stream this evening. But it seems like there's something here that's worth discussing. So next week will be Write Along. Finch, I feel like you would love Write Along. So we're here every Sunday, unless I cancel, unless something happens. But we're here, for the most part, we're here every Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time. Sometimes we do like a formal discussion like tonight. Sometimes we have what we call Poets in the Shed, where we literally just sit down and talk and there's no pre-planned schedule. Sometimes we talk about paranormal, sometimes we talk about nostalgia in those streams. Sometimes we have Write Along where we write poems together live. And we will soon start. I haven't forgotten about it. It's just there's a lot on at the moment, and I'm going to be very busy again for the next couple of months. But at some point, we're going to start poetry analysis streams as well, which I think was a great idea. But yeah, mate, let's come back to this. At the moment, I don't have the time to make videos, so you're not alone, guys. If you're sitting there thinking I'm struggling to make videos, I don't have the time, I don't have the space, you're not alone. Uh, and hopefully that gives you some sort of comfort. I am also struggling to find time to make videos at the moment. But yeah, we'll do a live stream on social media and finding our tribe. Because it seems like that was about to start a really good conversation, and I apologize for cutting it short. But we'll make a stream for that. So thank you so much for joining me this evening, everybody. Thank you for your time. Next week, Write Along. Until next week, absolutely, Tanya. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Adam. No problem, Pumpkin Lover. Thanks so much. See you next Sunday. Glad that you'll be back. I was late, just back from Florida. No problem, no problem. It's good that you popped in, even for a brief moment. So I'll say goodnight. Happy writing, everyone. Achievement is the poetry prompt for next week. And go well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. If you're in my time zone, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If you're in another time zone, if you're in the past to me, or have a good Monday if you're in the future to me. Good night, everyone.